If you feel lonely a lot of the time, I've got news. You're not alone. Ironic, right? Today's video was a suggestion in the comment section on one of my other videos, and it was a perfect suggestion because I've been thinking a lot about loneliness. We're going to get to what I think are the 3 types of loneliness in a second, but in the meantime, if you're into personal growth and mindfulness, for the not too woo-woo in a kind of practical kind of way, please subscribe to my channel, give the video a like, and comment below. Let me know what videos you'd like to see. As I said, I've been thinking a lot about loneliness lately. Now, I left Los Angeles and I moved to Florida 2 years ago. And I was only here for about a year before the pandemic started. So I didn't really get to meet a lot of people, find my tribe, set up a social support system. So that's the most in-your-face type of loneliness. But if I think about it, and I'm honest, I've kind of felt lonely my whole life. And I think there are 3 types of loneliness. So the first type of loneliness is actual physical, logistical loneliness. I was just talking about it. If you're in a new town or a new city or in a new school, if you have a small family or no family, if you're at a new job, and you don't know a lot of people, and you don't have a support system or a social network, you can feel lonely. Now, this type of loneliness is the easiest to overcome or deal with or combat. There are just so many ways to actually meet people. There are, Facebook groups and meetup and dating apps and in some ways, with the internet and social media, we can reach out and feel connected in so many ways. But on the other hand, that leads to a whole other type of loneliness. So the second type of loneliness is one that I've dealt with my entire life. And you could be surrounded by people. You could have what looks like a ton of friends. You could be really, really busy, but you still feel really alone. And that comes from a sense of being not understood, maybe not either identifying with the people around you or feeling like they can't necessarily identify with you or relate to you. And also, a feeling of just sometimes not being liked or not being included. Now, some of these feelings sometimes are legitimate. Maybe, and we have to be okay with this, maybe not everybody likes us. Maybe we're not always included. There are a lot of people in the world, and I would hazard to say I probably, and you probably, and they probably can't relate and connect with the majority of other people. Just because you live in the same city as someone, just because you're in the same age range as someone, just because you have the same hobbies as someone, doesn't mean necessarily that you're going to connect on a deep, deep level, which, is going to sort of like alleviate your loneliness. On the other hand, some of this, I realize for myself as well, has everything to do with what's going on in here and little to do with what's going on in actuality. And I talk about this in my video, the one personal development tip that I wish I had known sooner, the one that actually changed my life, and that's that we don't always have to believe everything we think. I'm not going to recap the whole video, but basically our ego likes to play games with us. We're not our ego, and our ego likes to make us feel unlikable, unlovable, isolated, because our ego wants to keep us all to itself. Selfish, greedy, needy ego. So being aware of that and forcing yourself to challenge, okay, what's legitimate and what's in my head can sort of help you first define what's actually going on and then make choices based on what you learn. And the third type of loneliness is feeling alone with yourself. I think this is the most dangerous type of loneliness. And I heard a really interesting quote the other day, which, again, I I appreciate quotes, but I'm terrible at re-quoting quotes. It said something like, if we continue to raise children who can't be alone, we're going to raise a whole society of lonely adults. And I think that's really true, and I think that's what's happened, and I think why lockdown and social distancing and self-isolating was so hard for so many people is because for a lot of us, we weren't raised learning how to be alone and how to be comfortable with ourselves. Now, thankfully, I'm not at that point in my life anymore. I was, but I've done a lot of work on it. And again, it stems from up here. And to drown out that yammerer up there, we do all sorts of things. We multitask, we binge watch TV while eating junk food, while checking our phone. We just try to keep ourselves distracted. Until and unless we shush what's going on in here and become friends with the us that is not our ego and actually like ourselves, we're always going to try to avoid ourselves, and we're always going to feel lonely. I hope that was helpful. I think one of the most important takeaways for you from this video should be, if you are feeling alone, you're not alone in that feeling. And ironically, that knowledge makes you feel less alone. I've said the word alone a lot. I hope this was helpful. Let me know how you deal with loneliness in the comments below. Also, ideas for other videos. I want to hear them. Obviously, I listen. Give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you're into real life, actionable mindfulness tips for the not too woo-woo. And I will talk to you soon. Thanks. Subscribe to the blog, amaximizelife.com, on Instagram, a.maximize.life, on Twitter, amaximizelife, and on YouTube, amaximizelife. 2 X's. Talk to you soon.